Call the City of Apache Junction Council meeting to order. The invocation will be led by Vice Mayor Wilson and the pledge by Councilmember Struble.
Heavenly Father, we are gathered together this very warm evening to perform city business. We again ask for your continuing assistance as we and our staff address city business and continue to keep this community a great place to live, work, raise a family, and perform a business. We again ask for some cooling rain and be sent this way, not only to help decrease the potential of fire levels, but also to help cool us down. We are all looking forward to the cooler temperatures so we can get out and enjoy your creation. Additionally, we again ask for your protective hand for our first responders. Keep them all safe each and every day. We extend this to our military members and their families from our community, wherever they are serving throughout the world. Bring them all home safe each and every day. In the Lord's name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Surtee,
Here.
Vice Mayor Wilson,
Here.
Councilmember Barker. Here. Councilmember Evans. Here. Councilmember Rizzi.
Present.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Here.
Councilmember Struble.
Here.
You have a quorum, Your Honor.
Do we have a motion on the consent agenda?
Your Honor, I move that the consent agenda be accepted as presented and that the award of contract for the restriping of select city streets be awarded to Franklin Striping in the amount of $130,570.50 plus a 10% contingency in the amount of $13,057.05 for unforeseen change orders for a total project cost not to exceed $143,627.55 be approved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wilson.
I'm going to make a comment first. And my response is positive, yes. I'm going to say yes for it. But if we can, and it's kind of directed to Bryant, in a future, is to kind of let people know what the costs are. I talked to a couple of people and they were saying, wow, $143,000 just to paint the streets, not realizing how many miles we are going to be doing and the cost of the paint and everything. So if we can break that out in the future, I sure would appreciate it.
Certainly.
Yes.
Thank you.
Did you vote?
Councilmember Barker.
Yes.
Councilmember Evans.
Yes.
Councilmember Rizzi.
Yes.
Sorry. Councilmember Struble.
Yes.
Mayor Surtee.
Yes.
Unanimous, Your Honor.
We have a presentation, Chief, of 25 years for one of our officers.
Yes, Mayor, City Council, and public, if I could have Officer Gabriel come up, because if I got to stand here and it's about him, he can stand next to me. Officer Gabriel is here this evening with family members, I'm assuming in the back? Yes. Okay, someplace. And I'll let him decide if he wants to introduce later on, but just want to give you a little background on Officer Gabriel. He's celebrating his 25 years of service with the city. I interviewed or spoke to several supervisors that had him over the years, some that have retired, and couldn't find anything negative about him. So a little history on him. He's served the United States as an Air Force member from 1988 till 2012. I may be off a little bit. Came to the PD in May of 1995, where he was making a whopping $12.33 an hour. In 1997, he was appointed as a community policing officer, which he received numerous commendations for solving burglaries and stuff when he was out there working with the public. And in one case, an armed robbery suspect was taken in custody when he was serving as a community policing officer, which is kind of commendable in itself. In July of 1998, he either volunteered or was assigned to the gang unit with Pinal County, also known as GIT'em. In 1999, there was a bank robbery at one of our banks. Not only did Officer Gable respond to the bank robbery, but the next day on his own went back to discuss with some of the employees who were very shaken up and nervous about the armed robbery and try to reassure them and try to make sure that they were okay about coming back to work, just to show the tenacity of Officer Gabriel. He received a commendation and a letter from the bank president commending him for that. In 2002, he was reassigned back to patrol and again received numerous accolades about his compassion and his team player working together. And then in 2006, he became a school resource officer where he served from 2006 to 2008. Then he went back to patrol as a field training officer, which he served until 2010, thereabout. And during this time, he also worked as a SWAT operator from 1997 until 2016. He was one of our first certified snipers, and he continued to serve that until, like I said, until 2016. He also served as a bike officer. He's received numerous letters. I mean, it's ridiculous how many letters he's gotten from the public. And these are not letters where supervisors have written about what he's been doing for the city and the citizens, but these are letters and cards and things that are in volume 1 of his file that I went through page by page in both volumes and could not find one bad thing to say about him tonight. And I tried, because that's my normal thing to do. But anyway, on behalf of the police department and some of the members are here from the PD, we just want to say thank you for the 25 years. It's my understanding that he's going to be here hopefully another 5 years, and he wants to round it up to an even number 30. And with that, I'll give you a little challenge coin. May you be here longer than me.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm going to pass it on to City Manager for some more accolades, hopefully.
Yeah.
You can't leave yet.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Your Honor, Mayor, and members of the council, it's an honor, a distinct honor to be with you tonight, to be able to present this certificate, 40 hours of time off, and a 25-year plaque to Officer Gabriel. And when I think of Keith, I think of one of our trainers. So when I think of all the things the Chief went through, Keith, the one thing I think of that's one of the most important, and when you think about bringing in to our organization a culture, how we go about what we do, and how we do it in a way that's professional and courteous, and also to the law. Of all people that were trusted, Keith, you were the one. You had a lot of time being one of our FTOs, and so he's a mentor of many, many, many of our police officers. So it's really a great honor, and something I've watched over the years to see him be one of the longtime FTOs. So Keith, I want to read the certificate, turn it over to you if you wanted to say anything. But I didn't know it was just 5 more years. But 5 more would be great. It's a long time of service. Keith Gabriel, with deep appreciation and thanks for your 25 years of service to the city of Apache Junction. Thank you. 1995 to 2020. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'd like to just say a few words. It has been my honor to serve the city of Apache Junction. I especially recently, I've commented many times to my current supervisor, the chief of police, and my family that it's really important that we treat the public properly. And in my 25 years, I have never seen an officer misbehave. I'm really proud to be able to say that here in the city of Apache Junction. It's also an honor for me to work for a city where the city staff, my bosses, the department, and the public support us like they do. I cannot stop at an intersection. I work day shift, so I have a lot more face time with the public than most. but I cannot stop at an intersection conservatively 3 times a day where someone will come up to me, we roll down their window, they thank me for what we do, and clearly we have the support of the city. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a proclamation designating the week for Child Passenger Safety Week. Whereas children are our future, and it is the responsibility of parents and caregivers to keep America's children safe. And whereas car seats are required by law for children traveling in motor vehicles, and whereas traffic crashes are the leading cause of death for children ages 1 to 13, and whereas research shows that car seats reduce the risk of fatal injury for infants by 71%, and by 54% for toddlers in cars, and by 58% and 59% for infants and toddlers in SUVs, pickups, and vans. And whereas parents and guardians must make sure that children age 12 and under always ride in the back seat, buckled up in properly installed child safety seats, and a rear-facing child seat should never be placed in the front seat of a motor vehicle equipped with a passenger airbag. And whereas children riding in the right seat for their age and size can be accomplished by the car seat inspection and ensures the safety of a child while traveling. Now therefore I, Jeff Surdy, Mayor of the City of Apache Junction, Arizona, do hereby proclaim the week of September 20th, 2020 through September 26th, 2020 as Child Passenger Safety Week in Apache Junction, and urge all citizens to work together to keep our children and passengers safe. And Brian, I don't think there's an organization, so is there anyone here to receive this?
Chief, will you please come up and accept it?
Your Honor, I'd be happy to accept that. If last week, I believe on our FYI Friday, that's on our Police Department Facebook, Officer Corporal Harshman did a little parody of child safety and with the car seat and the importance of it. So if anybody wanted to look at it, it's kind of humorous, but it's to the point, and it gets people to the idea that we have to have these kids in car seats for their own personal safety.
Yes.
Al? Where are you? Oh, Mr. Bravo, yeah. Mr. Bravo is still working upstairs. We're keeping him busy. Oh, did we get one? Chief, is there any way we can bring Officer Gabriel up to get a photo again? Is he still here?
Yeah, he's here.
We didn't get a photo of him.
Yeah.
Come on up.
Thank you, Keith. Sorry.
It's not a traffic light ticket. Picture.
Let's go over here, Keith. We're going to be over here in the lights.
Come on, Chip, scooter races. Scooter races.
Now I'm feeling a little sense of deja vu. Presentation and thank you letter to Glenn Perkins Educational Foundation acknowledging the generous donation of $20,000 to the Apache Junction Public Library.
Such a neat thing. We want to do it twice, Mayor.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you for letting me come for the first time to the meeting. Mayor Surdy and council members, Pam Harrison, Library Director, and I just want to thank you for the opportunity to acknowledge the generous donation we've received of $20,000 from the Glenn Perkins Educational Foundation. Mr. Glenn Perkins was a lifelong resident of North Dakota and a part-time winter visitor for several years to Apache Junction, and he had a great love for public libraries. His charitable foundation has bequeathed our library $20,000 every year since 2017, and I'm honored to be such a great part of this beautiful city and library system that we have. and such a great establishment that is educational for all of our residents. A thank you letter has been sent on your behalf to the foundation. And in the past, these funds have been used for technological pursuits for future library needs to cover library security, library efficient circulation of materials, and also for audio-video presentation technologies. At this time, we have not decided how we want to use the funds for the future library needs, but we have them set aside in a specific library account until we make those decisions.
And
That's it.
while you're
Okay.
here, the library's open and, right, it's not?
We are wide open.
Yes, great.
Thank you.
So, okay.
I remember the first time we were talking about it, and the American Library Association, Spencer told me, and Pam and the group was like, we don't ever close. And so the perspective of how to do it and do it well, they've done a great job of keeping everyone safe and staying open.
Yes.
To be commended.
Thank you again. Announcements of current events. Councilmember Barker.
There is an event going on tomorrow night at the VFW off of Plaza, right?
Phelps.
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 I always get the two mixed up. They both start with P. You'd think after 50 years I'd learn which one was which, but anyway, 6 o'clock, correct? School board candidates will have a debate tomorrow night at the VFW. Be a good way for everyone to be able to meet those folks who are running for school board this year.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Nothing.
Councilmember Rizzi.
I have nothing.
Councilmember Struble.
Yeah, I've got a couple things. Not sure which one's gonna be put up first, but, I've got the AJ open mic night. There you go. So we're gonna be trying to do this again. A couple years ago, we did some open mic nights, and it was at the Earth Heart Park. And, to be honest with you, it either got too cold or too hot, and so, we just could never find that baby bear portion where it was just right. But, so we're gonna be doing it again. We're gonna start on September 25th. We're gonna be doing it at the Table of Grace Church. It's open for anybody 8 to 80, any of those kids in between. And it's gonna be family friendly. Anybody who wants to come in and do music, both singing, instrumental, comedy, whatever it might be. But we'll have equipment, we'll have food for sale, that type of stuff. So if you know of anybody out there, an aspiring musician or singer or anything like that, they can come that night and register, or they can give me a call. We can get that all set up. The second thing is we're going to be holding the 4th annual AJ Kids Idol on January 24th. We've got a tentative place for it, but we got to just work out the details because hopefully we'll be free and clear to do whatever we want, but if not, we've got to make some changes. But just put that on your calendar, January 24th. It's a Sunday evening again. And again, it's just a way to showcase the young people in our community, what talents they have, and give them an avenue to show off to the community and maybe give them a springboard to something in the future. The last thing is just, with everything going on, I know there's a lot of volunteers out there that are just chomping at the bit to get into and do things out there in the community and stuff. So when it's available, go out there and do it, because there's a lot of people in the community that just need help, either cleaning up their yards, whatever it might be. I know personally I can't wait for the schools to open up to allow volunteers to go in so we can go in and work with the kids and help the teachers and the staff to serve the kids of our community. So if you have the mindset to volunteer, there's places to do that. Just look for them. Give us a call. We can help you out find places. So thanks.
Gail.
Nothing tonight.
Chip. We had our airport board meeting this morning, and the airport got hit really hard. They went down almost to no flights at all. But they actually had a little bit of a boost by all the fires. You hate to see that, but they get reimbursed for all that and the fuel that they sold there. So that actually kept them a little bit above water. And they also announced that there's a new flight to somewhere in California, but I don't know why anybody would want to fly over there. And also, we just had a First Friday in front of the Antique Mall, and that's been struggling all summer to get going, and now with the nice weather coming, then it's going to be great. And kudos to the people that put that on. And there'll soon be a Italian restaurant over there that's going to be moving over there. And Toast finally opened up on Broadway, so there's a new breakfast place. I think they only do breakfast and lunch. So those are my announcements. City Manager's report.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm very pleased this afternoon to have received an email from Chief Kelly regarding a grant that you authorize us to do with the Gila River Indian community for public safety radios. So we'll be bringing forward a resolution in the next set of meetings for you to approve that ability to accept the grant from the GRIC of $96,000. And it's a huge need that needs to happen. And so we just got that information this afternoon and wanted to make sure we're reporting that, and we'll be bringing that forward to you. In addition, every Wednesday for the rest of the month and the first 3 Wednesdays in October, Wells Fargo will continue to be coordinating with the United Food Bank as well as the Superstition Apache Junction Food Bank on the food distribution drive, 6 o'clock to 8 p.m. over on the western side of town, Wells Fargo over there. And that concludes my report.
Okay. Public hearing for application for a Series 12 liquor license for Dino's Deli. Jennifer.
Thank you, Your Honor. The application before you this evening is a Series 12 restaurant liquor license application for Dino's Deli. The correspondence that's related to the inspections of the premises for ADA safety and code compliance matters have been received by the 3 city departments and the Superstition Fire and Medical District. They found compliance with all the issues. Dino's is still under construction with an opening date sometime in January, but they are all recommending approval of the application. The applicant was contacted. They should be here this evening if you have any questions.
Is the applicant here? Would they like to say anything? I've already given you one plug. You can go plug yourself again.
Well, I'm really only here if you have any questions for me. I don't know that I have anything to say at this point. We are under construction. It is going to be good Italian food.
It's going to be a bigger
Can't
bigger
wait to
venue,
get it.
so will
Can't
you have
wait to-
will you have a bigger menu?
Yes, we are going to add some fish and obviously some beer and wine, and we'll let you know. Few different sides, some things that an Italian restaurant should have that we don't, but we just at our current location, we're like locked in. There's no room for anything else. So we're really excited about it. Can't wait to get in there.
Okay. Everybody's looking forward to it. So
Great.
thank you.
Great. So am I. Thanks, guys.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Would anyone like to speak on this item? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Is there any more discussion? If not, I'll ask for a motion.
Your Honor, I move that an application for a new Series 12 restaurant liquor license for Dino's Deli submitted by Agent Richard Thomas Satan be recommended for approval to the Arizona Department of Liquor License and Control.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Barker?
Yes.
Councilmember Struble?
Yes.
Councilmember Evans?
Yes.
Councilmember Rizzi?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Surtee?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously, Your Honor.
Consideration of application for a Series 12 liquor license for Momo Bowl. Jennifer.
Thank you, Your Honor. So this again is a Series 12 liquor license. What I forgot to mention before is this is a stackable license with other licenses. Not that a whole lot of restaurants would stack with the series that they can stack with, though. The 3 city departments did do their ADA and safety and zoning inspections, and so did Superstition Fire and Medical. They all are recommending approval of the application. Zoning, however, would like us to reiterate the fact that the map that was submitted with the application does not quite match what the building layout is right now, and if they do any kind of remodel, that they come in and see zoning for permits. And that's it.
Okay.
Applicant should be here this evening, Your Honor.
Is the applicant here? Would they like to say anything?
Come on up.
Yes. Come on.
Come on up.
We recognize the map situation when we're thinking about adding a counter. So we're in the process of taking care of that right now, making sure that the counters that are being built are acceptable to the city. So.
Okay, great. I don't have any questions about that, but I sure wish you'd put a sign up. I think you're losing a lot of business by not having a big sign. A lot of people don't know you're over there.
Yes.
So,
We're
and
in
it's
the
a
process of that, but we're dealing with Gus.
great restaurant. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion among council? This is a public hearing. Would anyone like to speak on this item? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that the application for a new Series 12 restaurant liquor license for Momo Bowl submitted by Agent Robert Stewart be recommended for approval to the Arizona Department of Liquor Licenses and Control.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Schroeder,
Yes.
Councilmember Barker,
Yes.
Councilmember Evans,
Yes.
Councilmember Struble,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wilson,
Yes.
Councilmember Rizzi,
Yes.
Mayor Surtee.
Yes.
Motion passes, Your Honor, unanimously.
Update on Apache Junction Small Business and Nonprofit Organization Assistance Grant. Janine.
Thank you. Take this off. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Janine Solly, Economic Development Director. Pleased to be here this evening to give you an update on the funding that you allocated to help our small businesses and nonprofits in the community when funding became available through a grant that we received from the Arizona Cares Fund. So just for the audience's sake, we, on July 15th, you approved resolution number 2023, recognizing that our businesses and our nonprofits are essential components to a vibrant community, and that due to the impacts of COVID-19, many of them were adversely impacted. So you directed staff to implement an assistance grant program to provide some economic relief and in turn enhance the health, safety, and welfare of the residents of the community, as well as those who visit the community or receive services in the city. So just as a quick review, the total city allocation of the Arizona Cares funding was approximately $4.8 million. You opted to allocate 25% of that funding, about $1.2 million for this grant. And of that total, you requested just over $1 million go to small businesses and that $200,000 be reserved for nonprofits. The grant was open for 5 weeks, beginning on July 21st and closed on August 25th. We did have 372 unique downloads of the application pulled from the city website. But in actuality, we had 95 applications submitted. And by week here, you can kind of see that we had a strong rush that first week when it first opened, a really steady stream in the middle there, and then an expected little uptick at the end right before the grant was due to close. Of the 95 applications that we received, 84 qualified for the grant. So there were 11 applicants either that didn't meet the criteria or chose to withdraw for some reason. Of the 84 grants that were awarded, 73 of them, or 87%, were for-profit small businesses, and 11, or 13% of those were our local nonprofits. So in terms of the overall grant, including both small business and nonprofits, the smallest award that was given was just over $750, and there were several that, in fact, 33 of them that actually met the $10,000 maximum. Of the 84 that were awarded and approved, the average grant amount awarded was $6875.82. And then the total that funding that was distributed through the grant was $577,568.57. So to break it down by applicant type, the 73 small businesses received about $507,000 of those funds, with an average award amount of just over $6,900. The small businesses claimed just a hair under 50% of the funding that was actually allocated for them to receive. And also, while it wasn't relevant for their eligibility for the grant, we did ask on the application if the businesses or nonprofits had received, in this case businesses, if they'd received other funding, COVID-related funding, and we did determine that 50 of the 73 did receive other COVID-related funding, and that might have been in an EIDL loan or a PPP, payroll protection program, or others. The amounts of those loans varied quite drastically from anywhere from $1,000, which is usually the forgivable minimum amount you could get, upwards to $234,000 for some of the larger operations. So to understand the types of businesses that received funding, I did break it down into just 3 general categories based on their primary deliverable, as you can see, basically restaurant, retail, or service. Service can include anything from beauty shops, insurance agents, skilled laborers, plumbers, spas, etc. And of course, the retail and restaurant are a little bit more obvious. So as you can see, the majority of our small businesses that we were able to assist were service-based. On the nonprofit side, the 11 awards totaled $69,722.36 with an average award of just over $6,300. Nonprofits claimed just under 35% of the funding that was actually allocated for them to receive. Also, 4 of the nonprofits of the 11 did receive other COVID-related funding as well. We did ask applicants how long they'd been in operation in Apache Junction, and there was really a good representation spread amongst the categories, from less than a year under their belt up to one of our service organizations that has their roots dated back in the community for 54 years. So here the lesson kind of learned is, regardless of your tenure, I think COVID had the ability to impact anyone across the board. Probably one of the more meaningful points of data, though, that I will give you tonight that helps us understand why this makes a difference is in terms of people. So there's owners, and there's families, and there's employees. So funding went to businesses and organizations that supported 168 full-time and part-time workers. By far, the majority of the recipients support 1 to 5 employees in their business, and that was 68% of the total awards. A distant second are those that employ 6 to 15 people in the organization or business. And then those with 16 or more employees came in at 6%. That was a total of 5 of the businesses or organizations. But I'm so happy to share with you just a handful of the comments that came into us during this process, and I wanted you all to know how much this means to all of them. On behalf of all the recipients, thank you for what you were able to do for our businesses and our nonprofits during this difficult time. They found themselves coping with a situation over which they had absolutely no control, and your support truly meant the world to many of them. So with that, I am happy to answer any questions.
So are these the final numbers then?
Mm-hmm.
So how much does then goes to public safety?
So the amount is, it's about 47% that went to the grant, so it's almost half, a little over half that will go back to public safety. The total available was 1.221 million. Granted was 577, so the public safety is going to be receiving 644,288.93.
And Bryant, that gets used for?
Immediately, we've got plans and are working on a job order contract for the dispatch center, and it has a significant need, and it will cost much more than that.
Yep.
So we have that available. We're also working on fleet and other issues over there. And the radios too. So the radios was a big one until today. We're still, and I'm not sure what the real cost of that, and there's much more need that's needed.
That was just because the council had allocated any unused funds from that specific amount to go to the
Correct.
public safety. That's not to say that the remainder of the CARES funding that couldn't be used additionally for other things for public safety, correct? Because we
That
haven't
is-
made a decision on the rest of the funds. It was just that allotted amount.
That is correct.
Okay.
And it definitely, yes. We talked about other uses when we went through the budget process as well.
And that'll be coming up on future agendas, what to use that additional funding for?
Correct.
Thank you.
Any more questions for Janine?
I just want to say huge thanks to the
Excellent
committee.
job.
Yeah, they did a lot. I saw them every week,
Thank
big stacks of applications and going out and talking to every business, hey, we want you to come in.
And also going out and encouraging them to put in for it as well. Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you,
that.
thank you. And thank you all for referring people over. We actually had several employee advocates out there who had their favorite little shop that they would go to and say, hey, did you know? So it was definitely a team effort, and I think that we are one of the municipalities that had the highest rate of response and funding that actually went out. There were a lot of communities that put funding out there, and it wasn't taken advantage of. So getting to almost half is in my book, a real success.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Discussion and update on Friends of Apache Junction Community Development Corporation corporate sponsorship, Fox, the fox that rocks.
Good evening, everyone. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. I'm going to give a quick presentation about the program and resource update. And going to begin with the Friends of Apache Junction. Over $50,000 has been donated to the Friends in support of the community so far in 2020. So that's a pretty decent number considering everything that's been going on. This year, the Friends have provided over $30,000 for city events, programs, and improvements. $12,000 of that went right back and was approved to buy police radios for the Paws and Claws officers so they could better serve the community. Now, due to the coronavirus, the Friends of Apache Junction fundraising events like the golf tournament were canceled for public safety reasons. Hopefully those can resume next year. Also, that affected the Apache Junction Community Development Corporation, who had the same issues going on. But they did get one of their signature programs started this year. It was the Community Revitalization Project, and it focused on cleaning up the community by helping the elderly and disabled maintain their property. They did this through yard cleanups, trash and debris removal, and minor household repair. I believe since the project started this year, they have been able to do 2 residences per month. So that's pretty good for a pilot program that they just started. You can find more information about that on the Apache Junction Community Development Corporation website, where you can also find the Make a Difference Day information. That is still going to go on this year. There was a lot of talk back and forth if they would be able to host it. It's going to be scaled down a lot to provide safety for everybody, make sure there's proper social distancing. But it's going to be a day of service. It's on Saturday, October 10th. It'll be from 8 a.m. to noon, and there'll be several projects. There's one at the Silly Mountain. There's another one at the Focal Point. And before I forget, Republic Services just donated 4 dumpsters. So there's going to be a community cleanup where residents can bring trash, yard debris. They can dump them in the dumpsters free of charge, and then that'll be taken away. I believe one of the dumpsters will be at Silly Mountain. I think 2 are at Focal Point, and I don't think the last one has been determined yet, but as soon as we get that information, it'll be put up on the website, which is www.apachejunctioncdc.com. You can also go there to volunteer or to submit a project for the Make a Difference Day or the Community Revitalization Project. Finally, corporate partnerships. Total benefit this year has been $25,920. There's another pledge that's going to be coming in that's going to raise that as well for the Halloween project in that event. The vast majority has gone to Parks and Recreation Department, which has been $24,000. That's actually going to go up to $24,500 here in just a couple of days. And we still have, hopefully, the December event, the parade and everything. We aren't sure how that's going to go, so we have to wait and see for that. The public library also received $1,920. We aren't sure what's going to happen next year with events and how they're going to be held. I know a lot this year had to be canceled or changed. That's, unfortunately what's happening. We want to make sure everybody is safe. That's priority number one. To close, I just want to say thank you to everybody in the community who has helped support the city and their neighbors, the entire community throughout these trying times. Any questions?
Any discussion or comments? What do you think will be happening at the focal point?
I know they're going to be doing some of the work on the barrel cactuses that have the dead tips to them. I think there's a extra cleanup in there, and some of the bricks have been faded out, so you can't read them anymore, and I believe those are going to be redone as well. And then the 2 dumpsters for the community that they come in and do the cleanup.
And just so folks know, the median project will not be a part of that this year. The Parks and Rec's going to do that later when it's cooler for a better survival rate. Of course, we didn't know we were going to have the hottest record in the history of the world this summer. So that's what really knocked a lot of them out there. But some of them are still going. All the prickly pears are doing really well, and some of the other stuff. So we have a better idea what we can grow out there with no water. So anything else?
I just want to say on the community development website, you can also donate funds that will help with the dumpsters and cleanup equipment for the organization.
And I guess I should say I just redid the Friends of Apache Junction website as well. They can accept donations online. It's a much more advanced website than what they had. You'll probably have to scroll several pages to find it because it's not SEO optimized yet. It'll take a few days for that to kick in. But once it does, that site will be greatly enhanced as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Presentation, discussion, and consideration of approval of resolution number 20-32 for authorization to enter into an intergovernmental agreement for mutual aid with Arizona Wastewater Agency Response Network. Matt.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Darren Anglin of the Sewer District is here tonight to discuss this request. And this is something our water district has done, and the sewer district is following suit, and he'll explain what it is and why it's coming here.
Thank you. Mayor, members of City Council, as Matt just mentioned, the Arizona Warren Group or the water district is a member of that group as well. Arizona Warren is a program that allows for mutual aid between water and wastewater utilities in the state. So if someone's having an emergency in Apache Junction, we can call in other entities to come and help us out if we need an extra loader, backhoe, or maybe just extra personnel. The reason I'm here tonight is, as a district, we were set up to serve within the city limits, and this would allow us to serve outside the city limits. So if Queen Creek or Gilbert needed assistance and we had an extra personnel, we could go help them. Currently, right now, we're not allowed to do that because we can't serve outside of city limits. And that's pretty much all it is.
Mr. Mayor, this would be similar. You're familiar with mutual aid agreements for our police department or the fire district, where when there's large emergencies, they can use our resources to go help them. And this is very similar. It's just in the water and wastewater world.
Any discussion or questions? So before I call for a motion, looking forward to having you guys participate in the State of the City also, which is all about infrastructure and just things like this of what is going to happen in the future and how well we're seated and sitting for, so it's great. You guys do a great job down there.
Excellent. We're looking forward to it.
Did you bring a jug of water for everybody?
No, we only take pictures now. Last time we brought a jug, it leaked, so we can't get out.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Your Honor, I move that resolution number 20-32, a resolution of the mayor and the city council of the city of Apache Junction, Arizona, approving the intergovernmental agreement for mutual aid with Arizona Water and Waste Agency Response Network be approved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Rizzi?
Yes.
Councilmember Evans?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wilson?
Yes.
Councilmember Barker?
Yes.
Councilmember Struble?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Mayor Surtee?
Yes.
Unanimous, Your Honor.
Presentation, discussion, and consideration of proposed resolution number 20-31, approving a final plat minor amendment for Roadhaven Subdivision Phases 1 and 2, renaming certain interior private streets and implementing a new internal addressing system.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Kelsey Shatnick. I'm a planner on staff, and tonight's presentation is a final plat minor amendment for Roadhaven Resort Subdivision located at 1000 South Idaho Road. So Roadhaven Resort was platted in 2 phases, and the final plat included internal private street names, but Roadhaven's addressing system was their own, and over the past few years, it became evident by both residents and staff and police and fire that internal wayfinding could be improved by eliminating confusing street loops, circles, repetitive names, and arbitrary internal addresses. And staff worked with Roadhaven representatives, again, the police department, fire district, post office, and others to establish a new addressing system. So what will change? Well, essentially, Roadhaven's 1000 South Idaho Road main address will remain the same, and the addressing of internal lots will be changed to reflect the subdivision lot number that is on the plat. Phase 1 lots will begin with a 1, and Phase 2 lots will begin with a 2. So I provided an example. So a new address would read 1000 South Idaho Road, Lot 1 for the phase, and then 067 for the lot number. And the next few slides just kind of show you what will be changing. The blue street names are street names that are remaining the same, and then the red are the ones that are changing. As you can kind of see, Kiowa Circle right there goes around the whole top of that subdivision, and that actually looped all the way around the entire subdivision, which was a primary reason to consider changing these names. This is the second half of Phase 1. Again, you can see that not many roads and street names have actually changed. Phase 2, you see a little bit more. Again, Klamath kind of wrapped around a large portion of the subdivision, making it difficult to find your way around it. Second half of Phase 2. So staff recommends approval of Resolution 20-31, subject to the conditions listed in the resolution. This has been a team effort for the past few years with staff and Roadhaven representatives and residents to kind of come up with something that will hopefully ease mail deliveries, package deliveries, and just finding your way throughout the subdivision because it is fairly large. And it's important to note that this will not go into effect immediately. Staff is going to work with 911 responders and updating all of our systems, and it could take between 30 to 60, even a little bit more, to implement and update all of our systems and get it ready to go live, essentially. Any questions?
So for those watching at home on the internet, if you've never been in there, it's like a city within a city.
Yes.
They've got their own golf course, their own streets, and their own restaurants and shops in there, and it was just difficult to navigate for emergency vehicles. So, so any questions or discussion? Then, do we have a motion?
Your Honor.
Yes.
I move that resolution number 20-31, a resolution of the mayor and the city council of the city of Apache Junction, Arizona, approving a final plat minor amendment for Roadhaven Subdivision, phases 1 and 2, renaming certain interior private streets and implementing a new internal addressing system be approved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Evans?
Yes.
Councilmember Rizzi?
Yes.
Councilmember Struble?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wilson?
Yes.
Councilmember Barker?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Mayor Sturdy?
Yes.
Unanimous, Your Honor.
Selection of meeting dates and times and locations.
Your Honor, I move that an executive session at 6 p.m. and a work session at 7 p.m. for Monday, October 5th and Tuesday, October 6th, 2020, be held in the City Council Conference Room in the City Council Chambers located at 300 East Superstition Boulevard, Apache Junction, Arizona, respectively, and other meetings if necessary.
Second.
Roll call.
Vice Mayor Wilson?
Yes.
Councilmember Barker?
Yes.
Councilmember Rizzi?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Struble?
Yes.
Councilmember Evans?
Yes.
Mayor Sturdy?
Yes.
Unanimous, Your Honor.
This is the time for the public to express requests, communications, comments, and suggestions. Each speaker must have already filled out a request to speak form and handed it to the city clerk before the end of the city manager's report. All issues shall be presented in a professional manner without personal attacks. Under the open meeting law, the city council cannot engage in a discussion on the issues presented, but may respond to criticism and may direct staff to follow up with the speaker directly and/or place this matter on a future agenda for council discussion. There's a 3-minute limit. I have 2, and the first one is John Kenny.
My name is John Kenny, and I have a problem with the way the city of Apache Junction is allowing public safety to fall by the wayside. I thought my address was 93 South Casey Road, but I do not live in a road. In fact, I live on a federal public easement. Due to this fact, the city code enforcement, law enforcement, and public works cannot provide all the services that I as a taxpayer should be receiving. For over 5 years, I have witnessed violations of code and public safety. I attempt to make complaint to code compliance, only to be told my complaints are unfounded. Now I have a picture to show you of a school bus that has to stop at a stop sign and pull out into an intersection due to the fact of an improperly built wall that is out of code. The bus driver cannot see the adjoining road to travel safely onto it. Now I will show you a picture directly out of your city code that shows how the fence is in violation.
Can we get those on the overhead and give him some extra time for setting it up?
Picture where this is at. Location.
While you're doing that, can we get where the cross streets are?
This is Junction Road, Junction Road and Acacia Road. Okay. The bus actually has to pull into the middle or onto Junction Road in order to clear the building, or to clear the wall visually. This is a picture of what the driver would see from his window. This is a picture of what it would be up here when you came to a full stop at the stop sign properly. This is directly out of code 1-6-13, visibility at intersections. I have brought this to code compliance many times. I've turned this information to code compliance several times and been ignored. In fact, I've been harassed for being a whistleblower. I asked that the City Council approve the absorption of federal public easements and make them true roads and property that the city should maintain and protect, allowing the city to properly do its job and enforce its codes and laws to protect the safety of its citizens. Thank you.
Robert? George Schroeder, not Robert.
Thank you.
Don't worry, they gave me a court order. What? You left your mask up here? You left your mask up here? George Schroeder, 2444, West Virginia. Concern HHS, $100,000 to nonprofit organizations. We don't, they get money from the feds, the state, the county, and the city. They got facilities that are paid for by those people, yet we're giving them more money and more money every year. We don't know how much they're getting. We just give them more money. They're getting paid to do their job, but we don't know how much it is. Let's just give them some more money. It is my opinion that the city is not doing anywhere near what it used to be. Forget COVID. This has been sprawling here for 8 years now. It's being run in the ground. My neighborhood is not being paid attention to. We had an officer who let a mentally ill person live in the house for 8 years and he attracted and let people squat on his property who died of overdose, and the house is still vacant now, red tagged, and nothing has been done with the house at 2525 West Virginia. This is a nightmare. Where else in the city does this happen? My neighborhood. Do you hate my neighborhood? Mr. Powell, anybody, do you hate my neighborhood? Because we're not getting anything. I am demanding a four-way stop. I don't want this racetrack outside my house anymore, called Delaware. And it's a flood zone, getting nowhere, getting worse. Dibble Construction took out 5 of the drains that were supposed to be there, so now it all ends up in my yard. Thank you very much. It's sad. You know, this has almost nothing to do with COVID. These are long-standing problems that this city will not address. Now that we don't have a grant supervisor, who's going to pay for my streets to be done that haven't been done in 45 years? Really? It's not even being addressed. Why is nobody talking to me? Are you afraid of me? Please don't be afraid of me. I come up here in good faith and I talk civil, maybe condescending, but still civil. Okay? I don't like what's going on. Okay? Now, one good thing, they finally got the bill out of my wife's name. The bad side of that is, it's in my name. Guess what? It's not collectible, ever. I made sure of it. And there are entities in this government that want money from me. They haven't seen money in 25 years. Guess what? They're not going to see any money. I'm telling you, I'm good for my word. Get my name off the Republic bill. Period.
What do you want to care to respond?
I'd like to know more about the first gentleman's problem. If staff would look into that and let me know, I would appreciate it.
Brian, could you let us all know on that? And
Yes, we'll certainly look at the intersection, yes.
okay,
I'll review, yes.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you. And with nothing else, we will be adjourned.